Microphone check. Michael Mauser, can you respond?
Sounds good.
I show 2 minutes.
Recording in progress.
One minute. President Gardner, I show 9:30.
Thank you. Let's call to order the regular board meeting of the Western Municipal Water District Board. And Tammy, would you please conduct a roll call?
Yes, thank you. Good morning. Director Torres.
Here.
Director Denstedt.
Present. Good morning.
Good morning. Director Roten.
I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning. Director Risby.
Good morning. I'm here.
Good morning. President Gardner.
I am here as well, thank you.
Thank you. President Gardner, you do have a quorum today.
Okay, thank you very much. At this time, we will do the Pledge of Allegiance, and we will be led by Derek Kawai, who, even though we all know who you are and how long you've been here and what you do, please tell us who you are, how long you've been here, and what you do.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you. My name is Derek Kawai. I'm Director of Engineering, and I've been here for 17 years. And I would like you to join me in the pledge to our flag. Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Brings us to public comments. Do we have anyone in the room who would like to address the board on anything that's not on the agenda?
I have received no requests to speak and no written comments.
Okay, and no one online?
And there is no one online currently.
Okay, thank you. We'll close public comments then and go to the consent calendar. Anybody have questions, comments, or wish to pull anything?
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion second. Any discussion? If not, Tammy, would you please do a roll call?
Director Torres.
Yes.
Director Denstedt.
Aye.
Director Roten.
Yes.
Director Risby.
Yes.
President Gardner.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Mr. General Manager, have we anything to add to the agenda?
Nothing to add today.
Okay, thank you. Our first action item is dedication of source control equipment cleaning room to Fred Kipfer. Mr. Miller.
Yeah, thank you, President Gardner. Derek Kwai will be doing a presentation on this, but you'll notice that there are a lot of people in the audience today because Fred was a special employee, and we miss Fred a lot, and we're happy to be able to do something in his honor. So with that, I will turn it over to Derek. He's got a brief presentation for the board.
Great. Good morning. Good morning, board. And good morning, everyone who's come. I really appreciate you all coming today. Today, staff is requesting the board to adopt Resolution 3303 to pay tribute to a remarkable individual whose dedication and expertise has left an indelible mark on Western Water. This resolution will name the Source Control Equipment Cleaning Room to be dedicated to the legacy of Fred Kipfer, a man whose work not only advanced our operations, but also deeply influenced the people who worked with him. I'd like to step through and show you what the source control equipment room looks like. That's why I've prepared this presentation. You can see the outside of it is this is a maintenance building that's located within the Western Water Recycling Facility. Let's see if I can advance it. So the idea behind the equipment cleaning room was that within the maintenance room, we used to prepare the sample bottles, and Fred Kipfer would work there for cleaning out the bottles. And the thing is that these have to be prepared in a way that you can't have any cross-contamination, because we're taking them out to sample industrial people who put water into the sewer from industry, and you want to treat it to make sure you protect the plant so that nothing comes into the plant that can harm it. And so we want to have our samples be impeccable. The design, you can see a layout here. This was developed by Fred Kipfer, and I think we also have Martin Draper in the audience, who also drew up some of these plans. And the idea was to have it be enclosed and be sealed off so you can't have any cross-contamination. So what we did was we built an enclosure within that maintenance center, and you can see it's all closed off, and it actually has air conditioning added in there. The air is controlled in there. And then you can see the completed room, which basically, this is where you prepare all the samples. You can see various composite samplers and all the tubing and all that kind of stuff, and it's all protected, and again, it's impeccable, the samples that we're taking for protecting the plant. This is a rendering of the sign that is to be placed on the equipment cleaning room. As you can see, it has our Western Water logo, names the room, and it says dedicated to Fred Kipfer and the time that he served. I do want to go through a little bit of the resolution just to describe Fred Kipfer. Fred Kipfer began his journey with Western Water on January 1st, 2009 as an operations technician. His career path saw him transitioning to the source control section within the engineering department, eventually rising to the position of source control program specialist 2. Before his retirement on November 1st, 2019, Fred's commitment to excellence was evident by his attainment of the Grade 2 Environmental Compliance Inspector certification, a testament to his relentless pursuit of knowledge and professional growth. Fred's extraordinary contributions earned him the Pride, Achievement, and Creativity and Enthusiasm Award in 2010, a recognition of his superior service to the district. His pivotal role in creating the Western Water Source Control Wastewater Sampling Program stands as a significant achievement, enhancing our operations and setting a standard for excellence. As a quick aside, I want to note that prior to having our own internal source control program, we contracted it out, and we decided to bring it in-house and bring in the staff, and he was one of the founding members who started that. And so everything that he did essentially set up what we do even to today. Furthermore, Fred's spirit of collaboration and expertise extended beyond our district. In 2017, he generously shared his sampling program documents with the Santa Ana Watershed Project Authority, demonstrating his commitment to wider community. His vision also led to the creation of an equipment cleaning and storage room, further ensuring the integrity of our sample collection process. In addition to his contributions to Western Water, Fred Kipfer was an invaluable asset to the Harupa Community Services District. He played a crucial role in training the district's industrial waste inspectors, imparting his unique, as they said it, and they submitted a write-up for us, imparting his unique Fred way of, the Fred monitoring way to each new inspector. In recognition of Fred Kipfer's extraordinary service and lasting impact, it is with great honor that we request that the board dedicate the building in his memory. This facility will stand as a testament to his dedication, expertise, and profound influence that he had on all operations and those who had the privilege of working with him. Fred Kipfer's legacy will continue to inspire future generations of water professionals. Let us strive to uphold the high standards he has set and remember his contributions as staff work within the source control sample preparation room. And with that, I did want to note that we do have the family of Fred Kipfer here. Lorraine's over there in the audience. And we have also with us a lot of other folks that, did work with Fred. And I really appreciate everyone for coming out today. It's a true testament to him.
Great. Thank you very much. Director Denstedt.
Mr. President, it is certainly my honor to move this item for approval for a dedicated employee who served the district with honor and distinction.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there discussion? If not, Tammy, would you please do a roll call vote?
Director Torres.
Yes.
Director Dinstedt.
Aye.
Director Roten.
Yes.
Director Rizvi.
Yes.
President Gardner.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Excellent.
Thank you,
Derek.
directors.
Yeah, President Gardner, now that the board's taken action, I just wanted to see if, we have a couple of people here that have come, and wasn't sure if they wanted to make comments or not. Derek, I don't know if you've organized. I know Martin's here, and he likes to talk, so. Martin?
Yeah.
Martin Draper is also a longtime Western employee who retired and worked very closely with Fred.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Martin Draper. I was the Source Control Program Manager here at Western when it started in 2013 until I retired 2 years ago, and I was Fred's supervisor. As far as supervisory duties went, it didn't get much easier than managing Fred, as he's as close to the model employee as you can get. Western and other public agencies need more people like Fred. And he had one trait that we disagreed with quite considerably, and that was his reluctance to ask for the items he needed to do his job. He would make do with things and keep things going. He had a sampler that was 20 years old. The lifespan's usually 5. And he was so good at this that we named him after a 1980s TV program called MacGyver. Because he was so adept at making something from nothing. When it was pointed out that this way of working could sometimes cost more than the item, that his time had value as well, he agreed to buy new equipment. As Derek said, he kept his sampling equipment in immaculate condition, but the storage area was far from ideal, in an area of the warehouse which was very dusty and prone to an insect infestation. Operations staff were approached to see if we could construct a room in the warehouse to protect our sampling equipment. And once we got the go-ahead for that, Fred was tasked with designing the interior from scratch, and as well as conducting sampling, Fred also came to the point of conducting industrial inspections. So he saw both sides of this, which was good. And he brought his work ethic to this task, adding greatly to the program's capabilities. It's said that every person dies twice. Give me a second. The first time is when they physically die, and the second time is the last time someone says their name. By dedicating this room to Fred, this board has ensured that the memory of Fred here at Weston will go on for a very long time. I know it means a lot to his family, friends and colleagues who are here today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. Martin, it's a testament to how you felt about Fred to come in from your retirement and say those nice comments. So thank you very much for coming in. Appreciate it. Any other speakers?
I'm a retiree from JCSD, just recently retired in February. I trained with Fred for months. We rode together. What an awesome guy. He knew all the tricks. Fred was a really smart guy, very humble, but we had a lot of laughs. We traded a lot of ideas. It's gonna be well missed, and I'm glad you guys did the dedication for him. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Please.
Absolutely.
Hi, I'm Lorraine Kipfer, Fred's wife. And after Martin's emotional words, I got a little emotional as well, too. But I just wanted to thank you so much for this honor. He would have been so honored and humbled to know that this was happening for him. And our kids are so thankful and just appreciative of the appreciation that you have shown him, that you showed him over the 10 years that he was here. We were very blessed for him to be employed here. It was a great way to raise our family. And going off of the MacGyver thing, I thought I'd share a cute little thing too. The way we met, really, he lived across the street from me for about 3 years, and it took a while for us to meet. We would just wave or whatever, but one day I got a knock on my door, and he said that I had a leaky sprinkler, and would I like to have it fixed? And the MacGyver in him, back then even, I didn't know about this yet, but he came and he fixed my sprinkler, and that was 32 years ago, and we were together ever since. So I just thought that was a really, it was a great way to meet him anyway. So again, thank you for the honor and everything, and we're just so very thankful and blessed for this, that you show such appreciation for him. And when I saw his picture there, it's like, well, I got a little emotional too. So thank you so, so much for this honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? But
I think it would be nice if we had an opportunity to take a picture with the family and the
Yes.
board. If
I-
you wouldn't mind doing that. And Mike
Not
is
at all.
here. He's always ready, so.
And I would just like to thank everybody who took time out of your day. Some of you are getting paid, some of you are not. Some of you spent money to get here, in honor of Fred, and it speaks very highly of him that all of you think that much of him. So, thank you. Let's go to a picture.
And I think it should be a group shot, too. I think everybody that's here, because y'all believe in the Fred way. And I think that picture should be hung in the room with a sign that says, "Do it the Fred way."
President Gardner, I'd also like to acknowledge staff moving this whole idea and concept forward. This was driven by Derek and his team to honor Fred and the family. And so it takes a lot in the public sector to make these things happen. And so I just want to thank staff for their effort to make it happen.
Okay, our next item is to consider purchase of 3 medium heavy-duty service truck chassis, and that went through committee, and Mr. Miller.
Yeah, Jason Behringer's here to talk about this. It went through committee, but I think it's an important element of, I think it's important to talk about this in the public because these are requirements that, we're complying with, and it's, part of cleaning our environment, and I think it's a good message that we should share with the public. We don't always like the cost, but there's an overarching goal here. So staff did an excellent job of figuring out how to do this the most efficiently and cost effectively, and so I wanted Jason to have the opportunity to share that with the board.
Thanks, Rick. Good morning, directors. Staff is recommending that the Board of Directors authorize the General Manager to initiate a PO for Fritz Ford of Riverside in the amount of $210,000 for the purchase of 3 F-550 chassis, gasoline truck chassis. The board adopted fiscal year 23-24 capital improvement facilities plan is sufficient to cover the cost of the fleet funding under Vehicle Asset Replacement Fund 145. This regulatory compliant addition to the fleet will ensure operational flexibility to reliably serve Western Water's customers. The requested truck chassis are a critical component to operate and maintain water and sewer service to Western Water customers. This request will help address Western Water's fleet needs prior to the California Air Resources Control Board Advanced Clean Fleet regulations set to take place January 1st, 2024. So again, staff is requesting the Board of Directors authorize the purchase of 3 F-550 chassis to maintain service reliability. And with that, I'll take any questions you may have.
Okay. Do we have any public comments, Tammy?
We do not.
Okay. Any questions, comments from the board?
Move
And-
to approve?
Okay, we have a
Sorry to
motion.
interrupt.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Go ahead. Laura, you go ahead.
All of us will.
No, you go ahead.
Tammy will sort it out.
I heard Director Roten first, but it was close.
Okay,
Fine.
motion and second. Any discussion? If not, Tammy, would you please do a roll call vote?
Thank you. Director Torres?
Yes.
Director Dinstead? Aye. Director Roten?
Yes.
Director Rizvi?
Yes.
President Gardner?
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, our next item is to consider approving supervisory control and data acquisition wide area network backbone radio integration project.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah, it's a mouthful. It's a mouthful. Dean Standing Warrior is here. He's the one leading this effort on improving our SCADA system and making sure that all of our equipment can talk to each other across our broad service area. So it's not an easy effort, and there's a lot of investment and a lot of commitment to making it work. And Dean and his team, since we've brought them on, we didn't have this group. Dean, how long have you been here now?
Going on 9 years.
Sorry, hard question. We didn't have this team. He started this team. So we were relying on contractors to do this, and it's really been a super positive change for Western and what we do. And so this is just more growth of that system. So Dean, can you present it to the board, please?
Of course.
Great.
So that year was 2015, Craig. So thank you. Good morning to everybody, and good morning, directors. Here today, as Craig mentioned, Dean Standing Warrior, Operations Manager for our Automation and Electrical Services Department. I'm here today to discuss our supervisory control and data acquisition wide area network backbone radio integration project. We were here at this time last year to discuss the first phase of this project, which was the construction of 4 65-foot towers, which we have one here in our picture on our first slide. That is one of four 65-foot towers. That is, project is complete and constructed and standing and waiting for our ask today, so. First slide here, just a reminder of our SCADA master plan. We began this in 2016, and it was really an approach to see where we stood with our SCADA system at that time, where we wanted to go, and we built an implementation plan and a roadmap to get there. So we did the assessment analysis, we did some alternatives evaluation, and then we got to our SCADA master plan, and that bold item there, our implementation plan. So we're walking through that right now. Here is the SCADA master, or the implementation plan. This is the first two phases of the plan. There are 3 phases total. We can see this first phase here is our mostly design, and it is complete. All tasks in that phase are complete, which we're pretty proud of with that. Phase 2 is what we're moving into now, is really our control system upgrades. And this is where we get to do a lot of the work, the meat and potatoes, and implement what we've done and designed and put that into the district. So you'll notice our first bullet there, our WAN communications implementation was broken into 2 pieces. We talked about the radio communication tower project already, and we're moving into our backbone radio integration project, which is our recommendation today. So just want to point out, we do have a couple other projects in process on this phase, including our SCADA upgrade design and implementation, which kind of parallels this project as well as we implement upgrades to our system. So this slide here just shows us a wide area network. Really, it's not necessarily the districts. It's just the intent is to give everybody a visual of what we're discussing here and kind of the idea of it. But the towers there that are represented in green, those are the 4 towers that we recently completed in our last ask. And moving to this slide, we're now focusing on our towers there have turned gray, and we're focusing on the green there, which is really putting the radio hardware and the network in place for communication reliability. So we're looking to add these radios at 5 sites with towers. We had 1 existing tower, we added 4, so we're at 5, and we're going to add them there, and also 3 of our treatment plant facilities as well. These radio communications will operate on Federal Communications Commission licensed frequencies, which will provide the reliability and security we need for this. So, with that, our funding request is here in front of us. That's a $500,000 ask project budget, $427,128 of that for communication enterprises to implement the backbone, and the remaining $72,872 is for Western staff project management and implementation as well. So with that, the Engineering, Operations, and Water Resources Committee and staff recommend the Board of Directors approve the Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition Wide Area Network Backbone Radio Integration Project with a budget of $500,000 under the Operations Asset Replacement Fund 165 in accordance with the board-approved Capital Improvement and Facilities Plan for fiscal year 2023-2024, and authorize the issuance of a purchase order for Communications Enterprises Incorporated from Bakersfield, California, in the amount of $427,128 for the Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition Radio Communication Backbone Integration Project. So one other thing I wanted to highlight was the proposals that went out for this project. They were advertised publicly on Planet Bids in July of 2023. Western Water received a total of 2 qualifying bids, and staff, along with the design consultant Tetra Tech, reviewed the bids for completeness and found that both met requirements that were outlined in our bid form. So, and then lastly, we do have Mr. Paul Poor with us today from Communication Enterprises. He's here to answer all the tough questions, and I'll be happy to answer any other questions that you have. So, Paul wants to.
Okay. Mr. Corbett, did you want to make a comment, or are you here just to answer questions should we have any? You're welcome to speak if you'd like.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Paul Poor.
Excuse me.
No money. Any questions? Yeah, I can answer any questions that you might.
Okay. Tammy, do we have any public comment?
We do not.
Okay. Questions from the board? I do. Director Dinstead.
Good morning. I do have two questions. You should know what one of them is. Okay, so we'll get to that second, though. We'll get to that second. And it's great that this gentleman is here today. Thank you so much for being here today, sir. We really appreciate it. My question is, are we not putting a contingency on this in any amount? We're just doing the straight contract? We don't feel like, okay. I just want to ask the question, because normally I see the line item with that. So that means then that they're not predicting any change and no change orders.
Correct.
And no overages.
Correct.
Okay, and you have no plans, everything looked great, smooth, and you don't expect any complications with this?
Yeah, we've done many of these, and the RFP was very well put together, and so we were able to be very competitive on our bidding on it.
Fantastic. Thank you. Mr. President, I'm pleased to move this item.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, Tammy, would you please do a roll call vote?
Director Torres?
Yes.
Director Dinstead?
Aye.
Director Roden?
Yes.
Director Risby?
Yes.
President Gardner?
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you very much.
Now you have some money, Mr. Porter. Spend it for us wisely, please. Okay, our next item is to award a contract for lead and copper rule revisions lead service line inventory project. Another one that went through committee, and this is one we don't really have any choice but to do, even though we don't have much of this as an issue. Derek?
Great, thank you. So yes, this was brought through the engineering committee, so I'm not going to go into as much detail as I did there. This item is related to complying with regulations for public safety. The lead service line inventory project is mandated by the United States Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA. And all public water systems have to complete a comprehensive inventory of lead service lines by October 16th of 2024. This is a critical requirement aimed at protecting our communities from lead exposure in drinking water. After evaluating our needs and resources, we issued a RFP, request for proposal, and considered proposals from 3 vendors. Hazen & Sawyer emerged as the most qualified, with a strong background in projects like this one. Their proposal also aligns well with our existing programs and tools, thereby minimizing additional costs. Staff is requesting a budget amendment to pay for this item of $293,794. This amount will be distributed across various operating funds. We are also requesting that the general manager be authorized to award the contract to Hazen in the amount of $267,085. I will note we do have a contingency task in that one. This one is we do have a defined task they're supposed to do, but of course, as we get out into the field and we, and reviewing all of the various laterals that are going to our customers, we might discover some things, and that's why we put a contingency in there. We have from Hazen & Sawyer, Nicole Blute, who is available if you have any questions. Thank you for your attention and consideration on this crucial matter. Your approval is essential for moving forward on this essential project.
Great, thank you very much. Tammy, do we have any public comment?
We do not.
Okay. Ms. Blute, did you wish to address the board, or are you available mostly just to answer questions? Okay, thank you very much. Bring it back to the board. Are there any questions from board members?
I did have one question.
Let me guess what it is.
Actually, I'm going to surprise you. How long
Okay,
is
good.
how long is the project going to take?
Oh, goodness, now you got, I'm going to have to turn, this is pretty rare, but I have to turn to.
Just
Anthony.
curious.
Anthony?
Project schedule has us going out to June right now. I think Hazen has no issue with that.
Okay, so we're going out till June. It is due in October, so it's going to give us a little bit of cushion there.
October of '24?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. And I do want to note that that was Anthony Budichin, our principal. principle over regulatory compliance.
Just for the record, in case it goes over time, it was Anthony that committed to June.
Okay, committed to June.
Right.
Okay,
Thank
got
you,
it.
Anthony.
All right, and we're going to do this project on time and on budget then, right? Hitting our June target?
Yes, based on everything that we know right now, we should be able to do that. Of course, we did put a contingency in there, so we should be under that budget.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And of course, it depends on what's found. If we find things that we don't
Exactly.
expect and lots of them, then there could be a change order, it could take more time.
Right.
And that's why we're moving forward with some extra time.
No, for sure.
In case we need it. Now, hopefully, we don't.
No, fingers crossed, we don't.
That was my question is, if this is, if you find the project scope goes beyond the contingency, are you going to come back for a budget approval?
Oh, absolutely, always.
Okay.
I always warn staff to watch it very closely, to watch the budget as we're progressing, so as early as possible, if we need new budget, we get in front of you.
That's all.
Okay.
I'm
Other
happy to move
questions?
the item. I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, Tammy, would you please take a roll call vote?
Director Torres?
Yes.
Director Dinstead?
Aye.
Director Roten?
Yes.
Director Rizvi?
Yes.
President Gardner?
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Great, thank you very much. Our last action item is to authorize the general manager to quitclaim a pipeline easement owned by Western, and it doesn't say here, but in exchange for another one.
That is
Someone
correct.
moved the pipe when we weren't looking.
Yes.
We need different property, so. Derek?
Yes. So, yeah, this item was covered in the engineering committee. Again, I'm not going to go through all the detail there. But in essence, the way, in order for us to give up property, we have to have, of course, the board authorize the general manager to give away property to quitclaim. So this will empower our team to talk to the owner, which we're already in discussion with, in order to get a replacement easement where the pipe actually is. So and we are planning on doing that as a straight exchange, meaning that if you give us this other easement, we'll quitclaim this other easement on your property. And the easement was originally recorded in 1976, and somehow the pipe was built in a different place, and we're just trying to correct that now. So I request your approval to move forward with this property adjustment.
Great, thank you. Tammy, do we have any public comment?
We do not.
I would just note that from the presentation at committee, the length of the existing easement versus the easement where the pipe actually is are roughly equal. So the property owner is not gaining or losing a significant amount of property. So with that,
Move
Move
to
to
approve.
approve. Second.
motion and a second. And Tammy, when the system catches up, would you please take a roll call vote?
Director Torres?
Yes.
Director Dinstead?
Aye.
Director Roten?
Yes.
Director Rizvi?
Yes.
President Gardner?
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 5-0.
Great.
Hey, directors.
Thank you, Derek. Brings us to reports, Mr. General Manager. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Mr. General
boy.
Counsel
Yeah,
first.
trouble there. Council first.
Yes.
No report, thank you.
Now it's your turn.
At least we got that out of the way, though.
Yes.
That was helpful. I've got a couple of things. Starting off, the Director Denstad had a very busy day, and I'm sure she'll report on that on Met, but Met has been, a lot of time and effort are going into metropolitan activities right now. And we have a lot of staff engaged in supporting Director and also supporting me for the different activities. They've formed a new, Adele Hodge-Khalil, the general manager, has formed a new group called the General Manager Roundtable because he wants, as he said, he wants to have more of an advisory relationship with the general managers, which I think is really helpful because we all have very diverse interests in what we need at Metropolitan, but we all need Metropolitan to be very successful as a whole. The other change that was made is the Climate Adaptation Master Plan for Water, in my words, has been struggling to make progress. And I think that the leadership at Met, including the chair, Don Ortega, recognizes that it's probably not making the amount of progress that he wants. And he feels very dedicated to this effort. And so they're making some changes to the process to try and move it along a little faster, I think. And one of the things that he's done is he's formed a task force. And so the task force is a combination of board members and general managers trying to get equal representation from all areas of Met service area, either by a board member or by a general manager. So Western has been invited to participate on that task force. So I'll be participating in that. It sounds like it's a good thing. I think it is a double-edged sword. It's going to be a lot of work. And it's always interesting to have a board and a general manager group kind of operating on the same level. So, because you have policy people and administrative people. So we'll see how that works. But I'm excited about the opportunity. Shivaji Deshmukh from IUA is also on that. There's 10 general managers that are part of that with, I think, 10 board members, or maybe it's 8 board members. Yeah. So looking forward to that. It'll be a big lift, and hopefully we can help move that process along. It's a really important process. And, you know, they're trying to figure out what Met needs to be doing by 2050. So, and how they're going to pay for all these projects they need. So looking forward to that effort. I'll let Director Denstead report on all the other Met activities. The other thing that I want to report out is that we had another all-day training session with the executive management team at the Desi House in Eastvale. So Harupa Community Services District operates that. They allow us to use the Desi House free of charge. It's a beautiful facility. I don't know if any of you have been there in Eastvale. It's in this wonderful neighborhood, and it's a great facility. So Nate Sossman comes in, and we do an all-day training. We've been doing this for almost 3 years now. We don't do it as frequently as we used to. These are kind of more tune-up sessions, but really emphasizing how we're going to continue to push our staff to be very active and informed and engaged at all levels. And this is all about trying to draw out comments, questions, ideas from our entire staff and not make it a management-led organization. And so we do a lot of exercises, and one of our big pushes this year is going to be our management level staff and getting them more training. And so I've engaged Nate to work with our group of managers, and we're really looking forward to kind of pushing this same training that we've had the opportunity to enjoy down through the organization. So a lot going on there, and I want to express my appreciation to the board to allow us to do this. A lot of agencies don't have this opportunity. It's an investment that you're making in staff throughout the organization. And I think I've seen huge benefits by our executive management team and the way that they're going about managing their staff. And I think that showed in our employee survey that we just got back. And, you know, very, very nice returns on our investment in our entire staff. And that's showing in that survey. Other things, there was a really nice event last 2 weeks ago at Southern California Water Coalition. Director Rizvi and Director Denstead were both there. Really great event, well attended by the water community in Southern California. I'm not sure which is better, the program or the networking that happens before the program, but really good to attend those, and I'm happy the board members are going because it is a good opportunity to talk with other directors of other agencies to see what they're working on. I participated in the California Municipal Utilities Association board meeting last week. I'm an officer in that board. It is really important that we stay engaged. We're trying to increase the membership in CMUA, but remember they're the sponsor of SB 366. They've been the sponsor of some very influential bills that have passed, and they've had a great track record of getting bills through the legislature. And it's really good to be a member of that association. And Barry Moline, I'll bring him back in for another update. He hasn't been in for a little while, but he needs to come back and tell everyone what that organization is doing. They're kind of unique. They're not as big as Aqua, not nearly as many members. They're kind of half power and half water. But the fact that they're not as big allows them to be more nimble and maybe a little bit more aggressive on a few of the things that they're promoting, and it's really beneficial for not just the water industry, but the electric power industry. Another thing, yesterday I went to lunch with the new general manager at San Diego County Water Authority, Dan Denham, so that was really nice too. He's been at Water Authority for 20 years, so he's an internal promotion. It was really great to spend time with him and try and pick his brain a little bit about what his goals and objectives are as the new general manager at Water Authority. He really brought a fresh perspective, and I hope he's really successful, and we'll work hard to help make him successful. The last thing I wanted to mention is we got Aqua coming up. Looking forward to all of you, except Director Gardner, who isn't able to make it. Looking forward to that. A reminder that we are going to have a lunch on Wednesday where we're going to give updates. It's really for the sponsors and the supporters of SB 366. So Aqua doesn't have a program lunch that day, so we're taking advantage of inviting people to that lunch, and we'll give an update on 366, try and build more support. That'll be Wednesday at noon, so please attend.
They're registered.
They are going? Well, that's good. That concludes my updates. Happy to answer any questions.
Are there questions for Mr. Miller? If not, brings us to directors' reports and requests. SWAPA did not have their first meeting of the month, so nothing to report there. MWD?
Okay, I only have an hour worth of updates.
Highlights.
Yeah, highlights.
Succinct highlights.
This is just the top part of the packets that I got for Met yesterday and for Monday. This little gem right here is talking about the long-range financial plan assessments. That's 150 pages that Mr. Mascaro and I will have a lovely time coordinating and talking about, and some of the assumptions that are going into here. And this plan was changed via the board's request to make it from the 2032 out to 2045 now. So it's looking at more along the lines of, hey, these are going to be long-term projects, these are going to be long-term obligations, and how are we going to match what the requirements are and the billions of dollars that are going into planning on those efforts. So this is going to be a long haul. This right here is going to coordinate with the Camp for Water, which Craig now sits on for that process. And these are kind of the two-pronged approach, and then the business plan that's going to come into play with all of that, so that Met can have a very clear, decisive direction about where it's going for its long-range financial planning and for projects and what the future of Metropolitan looks like for water supply. A lot of stuff that was going on. The board packet was, well, if you included all the closed session stuff that really wasn't released in the board packet, it was almost 1,000 pages of documents. So very, very long, and I'll tell you, it was a good time to drive up there on Monday with the 10 closed. That was a good time. So in any case, there were a lot of things that were happening at the board meeting yesterday. There is also some talk, and I'm really excited about this. They have engaged with, gosh, and I can't remember now which school it was. Pomona, I can't remember what university it was, but they have engaged with some folks to talk about Solar Cup and how Solar Cup may come back in the future and what that's going to look like, because a lot of the board really are disappointed that Solar Cup has not been moving forward, and I know many of our staff participate with our teams, and it's just a good time. It's a good time for us to connect with our future and the kids and show them about what our challenges are and really look at some things and how we all need to work together. And so that has not fallen on deaf ears up at Metropolitan, who was ultimately stood this program up. And they're working to try to figure out a way to bring that back without costing more stuff to the budget, because there's a huge financial gap and the numbers were kind of bleak yesterday, and talking about some of this long-range financial planning needs and the budget gaps in the $300 and $400 million range. So there's going to be some significant lifts coming to talk about that and what that means. It was a good conversation at the Legislative Committee for SB 366. So that was brought and talked about at that committee level for the state priorities. Jay Jefferson, who has now been brought up as the government affairs person that's up in the Sacramento office, has said that he's opened conversations with all of their offices and expects to have Met's concerns addressed, because they did a support if amended. They're talking about what those amendments are with staff. I understand he's had conversations with our own government affairs officer, Michael Hadley, and they expect to have that resolved by the end of the year, was the commitment at committee. So super excited to hear that. I reminded the board that when I attend all these conferences and I have conversations with people and I'm out there networking and I'm getting introduced to people and people find out I'm now sitting as a representative on the METS board, a lot of people are coming to me and saying, well, what's MET going to do about this? Because we're waiting for MET to make a decision on what direction they're going, and how are we going to follow suit? And so I was reminded of that when I went to water reuse. Certainly I had 4 or 5 people that came up and asked that question, and I made sure that the rest of the board heard that, and the staff heard that, and the general manager and the chair heard that we are the people that are being watched over what our decisions are and how we're doing our long-range financial planning and what legislation we're supporting. And that's, people are waiting for that position to change so that we can go ahead and move forward. I was really pleased to see that Delta Conveyance and Sykes Reservoir was also put on the priority schedule and in those planning efforts in the documents that were approved yesterday by not just that committee, but also by the board last night at the very long after 6 o'clock meeting that took place. So really excited about all of that. I also was able to attend, we had a break during the committee meetings for a brief press conference that took place. The director, Carla Nemeth, came down from Water Resources Control Board and, DWR. Came down and gave a check for $38 million for conservation efforts. And so Metropolitan is going to be looking to change the turf rebates and adding another $1 to that. So they're going to be going from $2 to $3 for those rebate efforts, which will all come down and help us too, as we're continuing to offer those programs to our customers for their benefit should they want to make landscaping choices that are different than what they have. So a lot of stuff going on, a lot of things happening. Really excited about Craig being a part of this Camp for Water task force. I know that it's going to add a lot on his plate. Jeff Armstrong is going to be the board member from our area, and we partner really well with Eastern, so I'm super excited about all of that. We had definite big conversations about equity, affordability, and what those mean, and how is Metropolitan, where is our role, where do we fit into this? And, I continue to ring the bell of, well, Metropolitan only has 26 customers. Those are the member agencies. it's the member agencies that have the programs that need to move forward. I was able to talk about our program that has been a longstanding program. It was one of the first in the state for customer assistance. I was surprised to hear how many member agencies and how many of the retail agencies do not have programs in place. I certainly have offered our contact information should we want to share how we accomplish our program, because it was a long, big lift for us at the time and took a long time to get around Prop 218 in order to accomplish that. And I think it's really about Met's job ultimately at the end of the day is to make sure that we are doing the best that we can to be a reliable and affordable importer of water to the member agencies, and it's the member agencies' job to then support our customers in the efforts of how we can keep that. So I'm going to keep beating that drum because I think really it's about us trying to control our costs at Metropolitan and making sure that we have a funding gap and sources that are going to be going out into the future, especially as we reduce our numbers in conservation and we're selling less of our product and we're not generating the same amount of revenue in order for fixed costs and debt service that are still sitting on the books and will be for years to come. So continuing to have those conversations, dialing in. I always appreciate staff's support in those efforts. I appreciate you guys answering quick phone calls that I have when I need to make it, or the text message that I said to Michael at the last second that says, hey, remind me how many of our member agencies on Met have already signed up for SB 366 so I can produce that right there at committee. So I really appreciate the support that I receive. This has been a very interesting venture for me. It has definitely re-energized my commitment and level of what being on Metropolitan means and how having the voice up there can really affect our policy here and what we do in the future. So I wanted to just convey that and to you, Mr. Miller, for all the meetings that we have continued to have in conversations moving forward. So, and happy to share any of the reading material if you guys need some good reading material to go through and talk about it. I was really pleased to see that the general manager actually put forward what his business plan is and what his priorities are, and we got that at the board meeting yesterday. So I now have a document that I can check the boxes off and say, okay, you're following through with what it is that you said your business plan was. And we now have some kind of a path moving forward on what that looks like and how we're going to do the lift down the road. So happy to answer any questions and happy to take phone calls after the meeting if you so choose. And that was my Met day after a 15-hour day yesterday.
So I just wanted to thank you for the time and the effort that you're putting in on behalf of our board and all of our customers and our member agencies' customers. It really does make a big difference. It's important that our Met representative be heavily involved. Inland Empire's not been as well heard, I guess, as we should be, and under your leadership, we're beginning to change that a bit. So thank you to you and to Craig for helping make that happen.
Thank you.
Chino Basin Water Master. Chino Basin Water Master has made a general manager change. Peter Kavunas is no longer general manager. They will be recruiting a new general manager in the interim. Edgar Tejas Foster is the acting general manager. There is a meeting tomorrow which will be potentially really interesting. It is my hope that the board will identify the mechanism by which they intend to recruit for a new general manager. As you all know, there are several ways that can be done. I hope that we will make a decision as to how it will be done and a commitment to a timeline for identifying candidates for interview, getting the interviews done, and appointing a new general manager. In the meantime, Edgar does a really good job. He is technically exceptionally sound, and we will move on from there. One of the complexities of Watermaster is now it's every 5 years, the court determines whether to continue the Watermaster in its current role and constitution or construction of the board, a 9-member board with assigned representation, or modify that in some way, or just dissolve Watermaster as it exists and hand it off to Department of Water Resources, have it run from the state level. It is time for the judge to do that again. There is an advisory committee at Watermaster, and they make a recommendation to the court, as does the board. The advisory committee meeting where I believe they will make a decision what their recommendation will be is tomorrow morning, followed immediately by the board meeting where the board will decide what it's going to do. I am hopeful that we don't get into a big argument about membership of the board and who has a board member and who has to rotate and who doesn't rotate. You've got to find a way that everybody who is a stakeholder has representation in one way or another. And that's how the 9-member board that exists today was determined, and why there is some rotation amongst some of the parties on when they have a board member. But it would, having just relieved the general manager and coming up with an argument over how the board should be constituted, I am afraid would not look good to the judge. So I'm hopeful that this is a smooth process, and we shall see. So that's it for Watermaster. There'll be much more to report next time. Chino DeSalter.
Chino DeSalter met on November 2nd. It was a fairly short meeting. We just had 2 main action items. One was an amendment number 2 to Corollo's agreement for design of Chino 1 DeSalter chemical rooms rehabilitation project. It was $67,336 for construction support services. It did go through the committee structure there at CDA, and that passed unanimously. And then the other item was a purchase order with, I think it's pronounced Evoqua Water Technologies for a supply of a word that you won't recognize. It's Amberlight HPR 4800 CI resins. And it was kind of a little bit of a humorous thing in the staff report. It said that the staff recommended that the board approve the purchase order on an now I don't even know if I can say this word, exigency basis. And I think everyone around the table was like, and what does that word mean? It means urgent. So it's funny, you wonder, why didn't we just use the word urgent? But that's okay, we all learned a new word. And so that passed during installation of new access ports. The staff were able then to inspect the interior of the ion exchange vessels at Chino DeSalter 1, and they discovered that the resin levels were low. And so we were able to move forward using the sole source method to get this urgent item taken care of. And it also went through both committees, so that always gives me a little more, I don't want to say confidence, I'm not confident, but, just feel a little better about knowing that it's gone through a committee structure, so that was it.
Okay, thank you. Rickra?
We were supposed to meet the week of Aqua, so the next meeting will be December 12th.
Okay. WRCOG?
Yes, WRCOG, which feels like it happened so long ago now. A lot of TUMF activities going on, a lot of transportation projects. We do not participate as a voter on that. It doesn't affect us, but a lot of stuff going on in the region just for transportation issues. The overpass is the big thing down in Menifee right now for the construction on that project, and they're in a TUMF agreement for almost $12 million at this point on reimbursement. So that continues to move forward as they do that. And then, of course, French Valley Parkway down in that area has still got some big lifts to go with TUMF dollars. So a lot of stuff going on that. It doesn't really affect us, but it is what is on the agenda for WRCOG. And then the big thing, we did approve an agreement, and I understand the signing has occurred, and we have a General Assembly speaker for next year. Drum roll, please. It is Sean McVay, the head coach for the Los Angeles Rams. And he will be coming to be the speaker. That was under the foundation's meeting for assigning that agreement, because now we have separated, so it's not part of and fall under executive committee for WRCOG. There's a separate now standing foundation in order to deal with General Assembly and all the speaker funds and how we receive all of the contributions and commitments for sponsors in order to support the speaker's fees that come with General Assembly. So I believe it's June 20th, 2024, I believe.
You're correct.
I think it's that third Thursday. I do believe.
It is
But-
the third Thursday.
Yeah. And that is all I have to report.
Okay, thank you. Sarah?
We'll meet next month.
Okay. Back to you, Director Dinstead.
Okay,
Aqua Region
Aqua.
9.
Yeah, Aqua's at the end of the month, so we'll have more to talk about then.
Okay. Director comments. Director Dinstead?
Yes, thank you. Just a couple of items to cover really quickly. It was Veterans Day last week, so wanted to wish all of our veterans here at Western, all the people that put the uniform on and stood tall for the country. So thank you for your service, and thank you for, I was able to attend the Veterans Day Parade down in Marietta. Always a huge turnout, always have a great flyover. And I'll tell you, our Grand Marshal down there was Cy Rangel. I've known him for years. And Cy is, I've never actually really heard his story. He was Master Sergeant in the Army. Cy was career military and spent an entire retired, and 9/11 hit. And at 57 years old, he re-upped. And he went through physicals. And he went through the over 40 physicals. At 57-year-old, he re-upped after 9/11 to put the uniform on and stand tall with the country. Special Forces, paratrooper, ambassador, was sent over to have really made things possible for us. So just thank you to all of our veterans for everything that you do. Thanksgiving coming up, so I wanted to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving and enjoy your families and your time, and give thanks for everything that's positive and wonderful in your lives. Given some of the state of what's going on in the world today, we are very fortunate to be here in the U.S. I also attended the building dedication to someone I miss terribly, who was a mentor to me, Director Phil Williams, who passed a year ago. Elsinore Valley Municipal Water District dedicated their admin building to him in his honor. His family was present. It was a well-attended event. I can tell you, being friends with Phil for 20 years, he would have absolutely hated that the building was named after him, and I just think it's just a hoot. He would have been the last person to accept or agree to anything like that, and I think it's just wonderful that we kind of got the last word in on him. And it was really just really a very honorable thing for that board to bestow upon him and give the honor to his family for all of the years of service that he did for the community, for water, for everything. And for LAFCO, he sat as our LAFCO rep for years. So I wanted to just share my appreciation for being able to attend that event. And then it is also, Mr. President, with a very heavy heart to share with you news that I received last week and made a couple of phone calls, but our former board member, Tom Evans' wife, passed away on the 7th, and her memorial service will be held Friday here in Riverside. She was a wonderful person that I had many conversations with when she attended our events in support of everything that Tom was doing on this board. And she was part of the Assistance League. I understand she was a president for a number of years on the Assistance League up here and provided tremendous amount of community support herself and involvement and volunteered her time to do those efforts. So we certainly, I wanted to share that with you and for my condolences to Tom and to his family and to all of the people who are saddened with her passing. And with that, that is my comments today. Thank you.
All right.
Director Rizvi.
My condolences to Tom and his family. I also attended a couple of Veterans Day event in Corona. Great attendance. It's good to meet people and to talk to people who have served our country so well and so appreciate their family and their stories. So we did that. I also attended the Southern California Water Coalition event. Great. I like the networking part much better than the program. It was a great and very well attended. It was a lot of people. The room was full. So I attended that. And coming up is Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. We are thankful for all of you to make it, our work much easier and to have a great holiday, and happy Thanksgiving to all of you as well. So,
Thank you. Director Torres.
So I received a few messages yesterday. One of them about the lift station or pump station. I hope that's been looked into on Wood and Markham. It just, I guess the smell can get really, really bad around this season, especially. But another one was about the fluoride in the water. And I know as water professionals, this is the last, we hear this so much and then trying to explain, but I see this as an opportunity for, I know we're producing the best videos and education material, just to, re-educate the public as to why, why there's fluoride in the water, and rather than them, circulating all the, Joe Rogan videos and all these conspiracy theories. That's, what I think would be useful. Or I can tackle it one-on-one with each person that sends me the same video. I also want to thank all our veterans. I don't know you all, but I do honor you all, and thank you so much for your service. I had the chance to, and I try to do this every year, attend the Flag Forever Hero event at the Riverside Cemetery, and obviously a wonderful event. I was able to take my son. Doesn't like to come with me to a lot of places, but it was wonderful to see him there and just show so much reverence. But I do know, and I wish I had the time to be there, but I know they are struggling they still need help removing flags. So if anyone has time, anyone has time, please show up. They're doing it in the mornings to removing flags. Also, and then lastly, for Happy Thanksgiving, it's my favorite time of the year, mostly because I just get to relax 2 days in a row as opposed to one. But no, Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you all enjoy your families. Some of the events I wanted to highlight for the public that may be in need. This Saturday, Casablanca Home and Neighborly Services will be having a food drive, turkey drive, as well as Friday through Tuesday. The residents of East Side at Bobby Bonds will also be having a food drive, and those are just happen to be in my area, which is why I'm highlighting them, and I'm sure there are plenty others. But again, I hope everyone has a happy Thanksgiving, and that's it. See you at Aqua.
Laura.
Yes, just a couple of comments, and I was fortunate as well to attend 2 days of veteran events. On Friday, I was at the Salute to Veterans in downtown Riverside, and then on Saturday, I was at the Flabob Airport event, and both of those were in my role on the Habitat for Humanity Riverside Board. And we had a booth, and this is something we have not done in a while, and we're trying to be more visible out in the community. And because our next big project is our 26 single-family home veteran project in Jurupa Valley, fingers crossed, we were able to talk to folks about that. And especially at Riverside, it was Flabob is incredible, and it's huge and bigger in size probably, but it has a lot of veterans, and then also a lot of the public comes in. Whereas the Salute to Veterans Parade, there's public at the parade, but this expo that they had in front of the courthouse was very veteran-centric. Like, you couldn't have a booth there selling things or whatever. So we were able to talk to quite a few people about Habitat in general and about the project and what we can offer. And then the other vendors that were there all had some sort of services or resources related to veterans. So it was the first time the parade had been back, I think, since 2019. And because of COVID and those types of things. But it was also so good to see elected officials out there, our legislators. Some of them rode in the parade, and then they came and walked through the expo, so that was really cool. And the same in Jurupa Valley. They had a parade that led into the big Flabob Veterans event, which that Flabob event has been going on for many, many years. And it lines up along the taxiway and the runway. They have fly-ins, you can ride in a plane, they have all kinds of booths, they have food, and just they do a program they have like reenactments, and they have people that are dressed up as past historical figures, and you can go and ask them questions, try to stump them to see, but they're pretty knowledgeable. So both of those were awesome. And then one thing that I saw that I wanted to just share that might be something we might want to think about, JCSD, and I think I remember this from the previous year when I saw it this year, on their Facebook for Veterans Day, they actually have little snapshots of all of their employees, their current employees that are veterans. And it has just their picture and, what branch they served in and when and that kind of thing as a thank you to them. I thought, you know what, that's a really cool thing to do. So just a suggestion. And I too would like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. It is my favorite as well, because you get together usually with your family, but you don't have all the pressure of presents, or obligations or whatever. And so it's just such a night, and then having the long weekend too. It's just a great way. Yeah, lots of food, of course, which I'm into as well. But it's just such a, I don't know, it's a time to reflect and to rest, and then to get ready for all the craziness that comes after that for the other holidays that are following. But happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I am certainly thankful for all of you and for my colleagues on the board, and thankful that I have been given this opportunity to serve on the board. It has been, oh, okay, I'm going to choke up, sorry. It's just been a wonderful opportunity. So thank you to all.
Great, thank you. Much of what I was going to say has been said. I was pleased to see that Riverside brought back the Salute to Veterans Parade, and they have moved it. They used to do it in the summertime, and now they've moved it to the weekend of Veterans Day, which is, I think, much more appropriate. And, just on the topic of veterans, my dad was a carrier-based dive bomber pilot in the Pacific in World War II. And so it's just, so many people have allowed us to be organized the way that we are, to have the jobs that we have, to be elected officials in whatever capacity. So thank all of them. Another thing that didn't get mentioned is this is the season of Diwali, which is a very popular celebration based in India, but we have a large Indian population in Southern California, particularly here in the Inland Empire. And you may have seen, it's a festival of lights. You may have seen things lit up that aren't normally lit up. I've run into a couple of people who said, yeah, my neighbor put their Christmas lights up really, really early. And it just happens they're Diwali lights. So happy Diwali to all those who celebrate that. Thanksgiving, again, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I hope you all have a great time. It's kind of a reminder that we all ought not be turkeys. So for a number of reasons. And last, I will, when we come back from closed session and adjourn, I will adjourn in memory and honor of Marcia Evans. But most people won't be here then, so I will announce that that's going to happen while we still have some people. We've got some information items in the
And I forgot
packet.
something.
What did you forgot?
So we're getting ready to have our first big rain today, later today, so. Yeah, so got to get ready, and are we telling people to dial their sprinklers back and things too? No, we're not getting ready to do that yet, so, okay, well, big rain is coming, so we're supposed to be enjoying that because it's going to happen today and Friday, Saturday, right?
Yep.
Wave 1 and wave 2 is what they're calling it, the first atmospheric rivers of the season.
We're watching it. I don't know that it's going to be that big.
Okay.
It's kind of petering out, but we'll see what happens.
We'll see.
The flood control gang's probably watching it even closer than we are.
So we are going to have a closed session, and I will let our general counsel announce that, and then we'll move to closed session.
Yes, we will be moving into closed session to discuss the one item that is listed on the agenda.
Okay, do we anticipate the reportable action?
We don't anticipate any reportable action, but we will be coming out to report.
Yeah. Should there be anything reportable, that will get reported when we come back. But, all right, it is about let's take a 5-minute break, and please do try to keep it to 5 minutes, and we'll then go to closed session.
Do we have Zoom closed session room? I have a.
Recording stopped.
Okay, let's bring us back to life and we will reconvene. We have enough crew here to do it. Don't need Mr. Miller to do this. Okay, we have returned from closed session, and so I'll call us back to order and turn it over to the general counsel.
Yes, members of the board and members of the public at home, the board met in closed session to discuss the one item that is listed on the agenda. There is no reportable action.
Okay, thank you very much. And with that, we will adjourn the meeting of the Western Municipal Water District Board of Directors in honor and memory of Marcia Evans, the wife of our former board member, Tom Evans. Thank you very much.